I'm Vyto Walz, and this is People in Perspective. Joining us today is hairstylist and salon owner Eddie Walz. Good morning, Eddie.
Good morning, Vyto.
So I have to ask, how did you get started in cutting hair?
I got started in a really early age because both sides of my family had curly hair, and they would always come back from haircuts and were upset about it. So I'd say I could fix that. Even though I was a young kid, you know, I'd help my mom out when she'd come back with a bad haircut, and then my cousins, and I just started cutting everybody's hair. So I got interested in how it really works because I was just going at it, but I wanted to go to school to, why, how,
So how old were you when you did your first haircut?
My first haircut, I was probably 12 or 13, but I started training in beauty school at 15.
So speaking of training, what schooling do you have to go through to become an official hairstylist?
You have to go to a beauty school. There's some different kinds, but I went to a school that I went to high school during the day, and then I went to a part-time program in the evening. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and all day Saturday I would go after school.
So it was really busy. Did you have time to do sports and other things after school, or was it mostly just hair?
It was mostly just hair. That was my focus, was hair.
Pretty determined.
Well, I really didn't think it was anything that I was going to do for a full-time career. I was just so interested in how it all worked that I started in it, but then I became good at it, and it just kind of unfolded and unrolled. And before you knew it, I was working for somebody else, training, and then competing in competitions. And so it just kind of unfolded. I didn't think this was going to be a lifetime career, but it turned into one.
So when and where was your first job?
My first job after beauty school, I was 17 years old, and I had just graduated. I graduated beauty school the same year that I graduated high school. And when you first come out of beauty school, you don't just go on the floor and start cutting people's hair. Anywhere that you work, they basically want you to train under one of their higher stylists. So I started working in a salon in Cicero on Cermak and Austin under this girl named Terry who trained me because she was an amazing hairstylist. So I just followed and watched and did whatever she taught me to do. And that's what you do in the beginning. They need someone shampooed, you shampoo for them. But then while you're not busy, you're supposed to watch them and train.
So what was the atmosphere like being the new guy at the salon?
It was fun because they took me under, especially being a young guy. Everyone would ask me to shampoo and help them out and put their colors on, and it was good atmosphere.
So when did you open your first salon?
Well, I assisted at that salon for about 3 years, and then I started to get my own chair and collect my own clientele. And there was another salon that was about 2 miles away, and he heard of me because I was taking, some of his clients. He's like, "Who is this new kid?" So at 17, 18, about 20 years old, he asked me to come work for him. So I didn't need to train under him because I already had my training at the other salon. So I worked for him for about 3 years. So at 23, I opened up my first hair salon in Riverside.
And what was it like? What goes into opening a salon?
Oh, openings, we had to find a location, and after the location, then we had to find workers, which you built up slowly because you start out with just yourself, and once you build your clientele, then you add another stylist and build more clientele, and just continues from there.
And since you guys have to have, you also sell products, how do you get started in that?
Well, when I first started out, we used Sebastian, which was at the time the big product, and products come in waves and trends. But I came across a product called a Vyto, and I fell in love with it from the start, and we've been with them ever since, and it's been about 28 years.
What do you like most about Vyto products?
Like I said, when I started out with them, the first thing I noticed is me being a self-shampooer and working with the products. The older products, my hands used to dry out and crack, and one day when we started using the Vyto, I was just inquiring about it, and I got a gallon of the shampoo and started using it, and my hands, I noticed, weren't cracking anymore. So I said, if this product is good for my hands, it's got to be good for the hair. And like I said, we've been with them 28 years now.
So owning a salon is a very social-oriented business. How do you handle like the business end versus the social end?
Well, that's a good question because it's two different very aspects. Like when I went into this, I like to cut hair, but owning a business is a totally different aspect of the business because you have to be a businessman and not a hairdresser. So I'm basically both. I'm an owner and a stylist, which are two different aspects.
So what are the pros and cons of owning your own salon versus like just working in one?
Pros are, I get to choose the products that I like to use, or the hours I like to work, or just the people I want to be around with, the location I'm in. I get to choose all of that. But the downside is you do all of it. So there's many hours involved. There's more than just closing up shop and going home after your last haircut. I have to make sure the products are ordered for the next day. We have enough color involved, and make sure the girls are happy. So I'm there at the end of the night mopping up, sweeping up, even though I'm the owner. So you do everything when you're the owner.
So hiring and firing workers, is that like a difficult?
No one likes to fire anybody. Hiring is a fun thing because you get to see a lot of people and meet a lot of people, but I rarely have to fire anyone. If you do your hiring well, then you don't have to fire.
What process do you go through when you're like hiring workers? Like, what do you look for?
First of all, I look for appearance when they first walk in the door. I like the way they look or how they carry themselves, and then they go through an interview process, and then you have to perform a few haircuts to see where your skill level is. But again, like any place you work, you have to train under myself or the other girls before you actually get your chair.
Do you ever look at a worker and see that they have like a lot of potential like you did? Like, have you ever had someone train under you, and like have you ever been like how you had to train with another hairstylist? Have you ever had someone do that for you?
Yeah. Always, usually. There's a girl that comes in and then they work under us, and then they kind of go on their own. They start to build up clientele, but I see potential before I hire them. Like if I like the way they look, or I could tell.
You could tell?
I could tell.
So how long have you been cutting hair, like in total?
30 years.
30 years.
30
Wow.
years.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Vyto Walz, and thanks for joining us on People in Perspective.